Welcome to Common Opinions. I'm your host, Jerry, joined by my co-host.
Hi, I'm Alex.
And today we're going to be talking about the first and second episode of Kamen Rider 01. Before we begin, I'd like to note that we are using the Kamen Corp subs, so if there's any discrepancies between your subtitles and ours, there you go.
Blame them, not us.
Exactly. That being said, let's jump right into episode 1.
Yeah, excited about this.
Alex, what did you think of episode 1 of Kamen Rider 01?
So, what did I think? I think it was freaking awesome. For an episode 1, it sets up basically everything we need to know immediately quite well and quite simply.
I have to agree. In about 24 minutes, they set up probably the entire first arc right out the gate.
Yeah.
I have to say, before we jump into the actual analysis of the first video, I have to take back what I said about Aruto. I think he's slowly starting to grow on me.
Yeah.
His brand of comedy still makes me cringe, but I look forward to the cringe. Basically.
It works.
Yeah, it works.
For his character, it definitely works.
So, to start with, 01 starts with Aruto at a amusement park getting ready to perform, and the only time I laugh in the episode is when his manager basically tells him to find a new dream and just walks off.
Yeah. It was just so bluntly brutal to him.
It
It was great.
It's the deadpan humor I absolutely adore.
Yeah.
That's what I need.
Everybody's reaction to him is great.
Yes.
Because of that.
After that, we go right into
This part will get cut.
Jerry, make sure to cut this part. I'm gonna leave that in.
This part won't get cut. And you won't hear me saying about the other part getting cut.
Okay, back to it.
Yeah.
So we're introduced to all the major players pretty quickly. I'd say in the first half of the episode, we get to meet everyone of importance. The vice president, the secretary Izu, the bad guys Jin and Hirobi, and and then in the second half we get to meet Ames, of course. But yeah. I think the more interesting thing before we get into the rest of it is the Humagear themselves.
Yeah.
Now, you pointed this out in our pre-recording discussion, but it was very interesting to see the Humagear actually resisting the Metsubo Jinrai.net's influence.
Yeah. It's very much that it's very much played up that the Humagear are more of, if you look at everybody in the factions, like it split them off into their factions. You have Metsubo Jinrai, which is, I hope I said that right.
You did, unlike some
okay.
people.
They are very much they're very much the bad guy faction. Hiden and like Aruto are very much like the good guy faction that are more on like the protective side, and it's very much would be the, you know, they're like more, I guess you'd say more morally gray, but they're still a good guy faction, just on the extreme side.
Yeah, I'd have to say that too.
And then it's like, if you were to put the human gear somewhere, they're just innocents caught in the middle that are just being forced into fucking being bad guys.
Right.
They're very much not the villains. They're the victims.
Yeah, absolutely. They are being forcibly overwritten by some kind of... we don't know if it's a code or a virus or whatever. We just know that their data is being overwritten, and it's a bit of a spoiler, but not really. In episode 2, we find out that once they're overwritten, they can't go back.
Yeah, they're done.
Yeah.
They have to be destroyed.
Which is something you and I both realized in episode 1, is that we're both surprised that the common writer of the series isn't actually saving the human gear.
Yeah, very much. And I'm thinking that that's going to be playing in... It kind of played in... It kind of plays in a little bit in the second episode, but I'm feeling that later on in the series, this is something that's probably going to come back to him and going to be one of those he feels bad about it moments.
Yeah. I imagine maybe when he gets his mid-season power-up, he'll be able to destroy the Magia without destroying the human gear itself. Maybe undoing the whatever... We don't know yet if it's a virus or whatever.
Yeah. He wants to protect the human gear, but at the same time, he's still very much looking at them. It's like he's apprehensively looking at them as still machines instead of the people that they are becoming.
Yeah, I could see that. I also think maybe there is no way to save them yet.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So this is like the only option right now, is to destroy them.
Yeah. Aside from what we're told, we can only go by that.
Exactly. We know, at this point of the story, we know as much as Aruto does.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's a great setup. Alright, let's get into some of the more spoilery aspects of episode 1.
Alright.
Alex?
Yes.
I know I said this before, but I'm going to say it again. My man's Jin just blew that Humagear's brains out.
That was surprisingly brutal, and he did it with such surprising ease.
It was almost like Peridot levels of glee when he did it.
Yeah, he's very much like... Kind of like before. Yeah, kind of like when Peridot was an antagonist. He's very much... It's very much like he just doesn't have consequences with this thing, and he's just enjoying everything.
Mm-hmm.
He's very much that style, but unlike Peridot, he has a lot more menace just because he seems more psychopathic. Just in that one action alone, he already feels more villainous than Peridot.
Yeah, I agree. He seems genuinely evil. They were able to make him into a threat in less than a few minutes. He's not on screen for more than 2 minutes of the whole episode.
Yeah, he's very much like a conscious threat that's active too. That's the other thing. He's active.
Yes, he's not.
He's present.
Yeah, he's not like a passive threat. Hirobi right now seems to be taking like the role of the mastermind.
Yeah,
he hasn't done anything yet, even in episode 2. Not really.
Yeah.
But in episode 1, Jin, he's probably going to get his evil rider form first.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah.
It would make sense. Since he's the more direct one so far.
Mm-hmm. What did you think of the first Henshin?
I thought it was great. I love 01's form and pension. They're both just like, it's great. It's fun.
Yes.
It's a fun one. the it's got like it's a bit flashy, but at the same time, it's not like overly done either. It's nice. I like it.
Me too. I enjoy it a lot. I also like that he gets uploaded to the satellite as if though he was in the Gaia library.
Yeah, that was cool. I wasn't expecting that.
Yeah. It's something I noticed that I realized nobody else is talking about, the parallels between the Gaia library and the satellite server.
Yeah. I'm wondering how often that thing's going to be used.
Probably. I'm going to be honest with you. Probably for each form change and big reveal.
Probably.
Yeah.
Because there was a lot of options aside from that manual that was in that thing that they showed.
Very true. And we get to see it again in episode 2.
Yeah.
So, who knows? All right. The fact that his device, his Henshin device, and the Progrise key and whatnot are 3D printed in his office is hilarious to me.
Yes. Oh, he's 100%. That thing's 100% going to break at some point.
Oh, absolutely. It's going to break, and then in that next episode, he's either going to get his mid-season form or final form.
Yeah, something like that.
Absolutely. All right, let's move on to the villain, the comedian Gutbuster Taro.
Yeah.
Or Taro, I believe is probably how you pronounce it. So, funny thing about him, he's actually played by a comedian / bodybuilder, so those abs are 100% real.
Oh, that is hilarious. And I actually laughed at his thing when because it was just like surprising.
Exactly, me too. I didn't expect for the punchline of the joke to be his gut literally busting open. That was pretty humorous, I have to say.
It was great.
And then we see Jin slap the Zetsume riser on him and insert the Baratha key, and he becomes the Baratha Magia. All of these forms are called Magia, by the way. So Barathia comes from something called Kuji Barathia Teruyuki, and it is a type of extinct insect from the Cretaceous period.
Oh, I wonder if that's how they're just...
In fact, all of them are some kind of extinct lizard or bird or animal from the past.
Interesting.
So
see, that's a cool design.
Yeah, exactly. To mesh it with the whole singularity aspect of, the AI surpassing humanity, one could make the argument that these are the creatures that were surpassed by something else.
Yeah. That's an interesting take on that. Yeah, I like that.
But that's just a personal theory. So we get the fight between Baratha Magia and 01, who, for the first time in the episode, before he transforms, I jumped a little ahead, but before Aruto transforms, he actually wins me over as a Kamen Rider right then and there when he gives his dramatic hero speech, which I would love to play right here, but Toei is going to be a bunch of bitches and claim my video.
This is a thing we might have had problems with that in the past.
Yeah, I only had to upload the trailer 3 different times.
Yeah.
So, don't worry, you'll get some nice still images.
Oh yeah, I like this speech too because it wasn't like over the top or anything. It was pretty simple.
Yeah, it was the right amount to take him serious.
Yeah. He's very much got that kind of switch.
Yes.
And it's
believable.
Yeah, it's very believable.
Okay, so the fight, not bad for a first episode. I wasn't too keen on the rider kick. I'll be honest with you. In episode 2, we get a finisher that I actually like. So
I liked the kick, but I do kind of say that the fight overall, although fun, was a little bit more lackluster than some first fights. But
I agree with you because they spent a lot of the episode setting up the whole premise. So we weren't going to get a deep fight between Baratha and Aruto. It just wasn't going to happen.
But they just still didn't end up wasting their time. It was still all worth it.
Exactly. And then after the rider, during the rider kick, we get the hilarious little sound effect of Aruto breaking his leg. Though he doesn't actually break his leg. It's just played for comedic effect.
Oh my god, that was great.
And then we wrap it up with a nice scene between the manager of the amusement park and, giving a smile to Aruto for basically saving the park from having to be shut down.
Yeah.
All in all, not a bad episode. Pretty good way to start the series out the gate. Fuck all that. Episode 2. Holy Christ. Episode 2 is much better than episode 1.
It is. Episode 1's not bad. But episode 2 is fantastic.
So I am going to get right into the spoilers. I don't care.
Alright.
So right out the gate, spoilers, spoilers, spoilers. I don't want to hear any complaints. All right. Vice President made me laugh twice in this episode.
Yeah, he's very much. I think like you were calling him, comparing him to the trousers dude from.
Suspenders teacher.
Yeah, Suspenders teacher from Forzy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he's that kind of character. He's not any sort of antagonist or anything else. Like not an actual one. He's very much one of those characters.
Exactly. I don't see him being like a real bad guy. Just kind of like a bumbling goof.
Yeah.
It's smart to hire an actual comedian too, because anytime he's on the screen, he just chews up the scenery. I absolutely love it.
Yeah. He's very fun because he's also like, he's the right kind of over the top.
Exactly. We find out some stuff about Hidan intelligence, covering up what happened in Daybreak Town City. Not entirely sure. They didn't really specify. We just know it's called Daybreak. The city you see in episode 1 that's completely destroyed, which turns out that Aruto and Iwasu of Ames are both probably from.
Yeah, it very much it looks like that in all the flashback scenes, and they were at least there during Daybreak. At the very least.
Daybreak is actually the name of the town.
Daybreak is actually the name of the town?
Yes. Okay. Not the Humagear attack.
Okay.
I had to rewatch that scene. That
was a little confusing.
Yeah,
then.
Exactly. Same for me. That's why I had to watch it a couple more times.
Okay. That's not a big problem then. Okay, so they were... So yeah, they were... I mean, at the very least, though, they were definitely there for the event.
Yes.
Which I'm very curious about that event because I'm getting the impression that Jin and Hirobi are probably around Aruto's age.
Yeah, most likely.
So they probably weren't actually, if they were involved at all, they definitely weren't like as heavily involved in it.
If they're even humans to begin with.
If they are even humans to begin with. That thought had also crossed my mind.
You know, I know it's easy to say, oh, they're not really. We've seen Jin without his hood up.
Yeah.
Who's to say they all wear that ear thing? You know, that's something they did in Beyond Human.
Yeah.
They took off those LED lights because they have functionally no purpose outside of making you look like an android. So it would not surprise me if they copied that idea or something. Terrible game, by the way. Just throwing that out there, right? David Cage is a hack. It's his best game, but it's still trash. I don't give a fuck what anyone says. All right, made my peace. All right. But let's jump.
I'm getting ready to point out, too, about the whole thing. I don't know if it was an intentional thing or not, but when Aruto's in that flashback scene from both the first and second episode, when his dad, which very much appears to just be a human gear, but also one that has emotion. It very much, in the second episode in particular, I noticed it. There's a close-up scene to his face, and in that you can actually see his ear still under that thing. So I don't know if that was an accident or if might have been done on purpose, because it was also a very large and noticeable gap. So maybe it was done on purpose to show that they don't need those.
I'm going to say it's a happy coincidence, but the same thing is going to happen in the future where we find out that they don't need those strange plugs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm more of, it's more of a, I don't think it is, but potentially if it is, that would be very pleasant.
Yeah. It's going to be one of those things where it was a mistake, but it's going to be looked at when we're like 30 episodes in as foreshadowing.
Yeah.
Because I know what you meant, but I also thought it was just because of how he was laying. It might have jumbled the...
Because he is also moving, and did just perform like a little action going to the ground and shit.
Exactly. Oh, as an aside, do you think they're going to sell those as headphones for merch?
Yes.
Absolutely. And
It would be silly not to.
And I'm going to buy a pair. I'm telling you right now. Telling you right now.
I'm pretty sure they were just headphones that they styled up.
That's what I assumed they were, because
Got the headphones covers.
Yeah, they look like headphones, just instead of you wearing them the normal way, you wear them the lazy, neat way, just backwards. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I assume they're going to be headphones at some point. But
all right.
The important part is this is the episode where we actually get to talk to Ames.
Yes.
And we get... oh, this is embarrassing. I forgot the chick's name already. I only remembered Iwasu.
Because he's very standout so far out of the two.
Yes. Yua. Yeah. So, Yua, much like you were speculating, doesn't seem to be anti-human gear. She's just in charge of weapons and doing her job.
Yeah.
Iwasu is exactly the red Oni we thought he was going to be.
Yep.
Now,
but, surprisingly enough,
he fucking loves Aruto's jokes.
Yes.
I thought he was getting angry because they fake you out.
Throw up and then he's just like...
Yeah.
Oh god, that was great. I laughed from that.
Yes, his reaction made me laugh as well. But the first time Aruto does the joke, you see Iwasu clench his fist, and I'm just like, oh no, he's gonna beat him up. And then the emergency warning goes off, and we meet the second Magia, which is Now, I don't know how the heck to say this thing's name. It was like... I have it spelled right in front of me and I can't pronounce it.
Yeah, I heard it and I was like, I tried to say it, but it went by so fast. It's just like, I'm not trying that one.
I'm going to put it on the screen.
Right.
Somebody smarter than us can pronounce it for us. But
send me the spelling too.
But I am going to let you know that it is a extinct reptile from the Triassic period.
Okay.
Yeah, we get the second Magia, which I'm just going to call Red Magia, but I will make sure to keep the name on the screen for the viewers at home.
That's one of those names that you're just going to have to, like, hear it get pronounced, say it, hear it, say it, and just do that a few times till you just have it.
Yeah, like all the other names so far.
Yeah.
So yeah, we get the Red Magia, and we get a callback to Kamen Rider Kuga and Agito, where Ames meets 01 for the first time and thinks it's a Humagear. Or, like in Agito,
yes.
And Kuga thinks it is an unknown life form.
Yes, that's actually a good... I like that. That surprised me that they were doing that, but then it's like, I thought about it.
It makes sense.
It would make sense. They don't know what it is. They have these things that are looking actually fairly similar, and they're made with us, the same type of, like one of those progress keys.
Yeah.
So it would make sense. It's a logical way of thinking.
Yeah. Very true. Ames's Iwasu tries to Henshin and can't because Yua has the progress key sealed, and she won't authorize him to use it because he's being reckless. Surprising fact is that we thought she might outrank him. Turns out, not true. He is her captain, but since she's in charge of weapons, she doesn't want to let him use... She
has like a workaround override to the authority because of the position she was put in.
Right.
Because she's supposed to be keeping a leash on him.
Exactly. So during that exchange and all that, Red Magia gets away, and we get a nice little exchange between Aruto and one Humagear called Mamoru, which is, ironically enough, the Japanese word for protect.
Huh.
I knew that before checking the wiki, so nobody's going to take that one away from me. I knew Mamoru was going to turn into a Magia.
Yeah, that was foreshadowed hard.
Yeah.
Almost immediately.
The moment he smiles, I'm just like, oh shit, he's got free will.
Yep. But it was actually like a good... it was pretty well done because it also, like... It gave Aruto an immediate attachment.
Exactly.
In a really simple way. It was done in a simple way, but it was still, like, effective. It made sense. It wasn't some forced crap.
Exactly.
Which is something, overall, something that I have to just point out. Nothing really feels forced. In 2 episodes, everything feels fluid and smooth and part of a continuous thing that just... Nothing's forced. Everything's... It's all, like... how people... It's legitimately how people would actually act in those situations.
Right.
Unlike Ghost, which fucking just forces its plot along. Not going to go into that.
Alex, do you want to be here for an hour talking about Ghost? Because I will talk about Ghost until I'm blue in the face. You know this.
I would do, but it would be good for the video.
So, yeah. Aruto alludes to something that happens in his life with Mamoru and gives him a handkerchief, which I imagine he uses in his comedy routine. It's not something anyone stated. I just assume because of how comedians are,
and the designs on it,
and the designs exactly that, and the yellow color, yes. Because it would stand out with his baby blue suit that he wears.
Yeah.
And he ties it around him and tells him to make sure to get repaired. And then we see Mamoru smile, and then I'm like, yep, this guy's going to turn into a bad guy.
Yeah.
And he does.
Yep.
Jin does it right in front of him. Right in front of Aruto. He infects him with the Zetsume Riser right there, but he doesn't use the Zetsume Rise key until he's until he's in front of Aruto. And I have to say, that scene where Jin cocks his head back and says he's one of the rulers of the new era, not gonna lie, pretty cool.
Pretty cool.
I love my edgy stuff. And that was, I'd say, a solid 8 out of 10 edgy.
It was like... It's really funny because the way that the actor is just playing Jin, it's very much like at all times Jin is finding some amusement, but he's always managing and having fun with what he's doing, but he's always managing to like be threatening and like outright hostile.
Absolutely. Yes.
It's like he's like imposing without like doing hardly anything. Just he's like imposing by being there.
Very imposing. There is a certain sense of dread to everything he does. Sort of like Michi when he's getting ready to stab someone in the back for the 100th time.
Fucking Michi.
Insert picture of Michi here.
And put a middle finger right in of his face.
I'm putting 1, 2, 3, 4.
Put one for every time he fails. Oh wait, we can't put that many on the screen.
If I did that, the entire screen would be full of middle fingers.
Oh, there we go. Kamen is going to be a fun one to cover.
Yeah. All right. Continuing on from there, he transforms into the Ekol Magia, and we're actually familiar with this animal. Believe it or not, Alex.
Oh yeah. This
is Ecolta Delta, or let me say that again. Ecolta Delta. It's the kangaroo rat thing that we sometimes get on our Google Docs.
Oh wow, that's actually... Huh. I wasn't expecting that.
Right? Neither was I. And that's a creature from the Triassic period. So again, it's all extinct animals, reptiles, insects, that kind of deal.
Interesting.
We get a bit of an exchange, and then we find out about Hidan Intelligence basically covering up a lot of the crimes that are being committed by Humagear.
Yeah.
Now, this gets resolved quite well at the end, but up until this point, we don't really know what's going to happen because Izu seems to have no problem just going right into cover-up mode.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Everybody is expecting him to cover up.
Yes.
Like everybody is expecting Aruto to cover it up.
Yes. Then we get to find a beautiful duality scene. It is something I love so much. I'm a huge fan of Twin Peaks, and in Twin Peaks, one of the major themes of the show is duality. And we get to see two people that have similar ideals, completely opposite of each other.
Yes.
we find out that both Aruto and Iwasu were in Daybreak when the human slaughter of infected Humagear started killing everyone.
Yes.
And it is just amazing. Iwasu is in his school. I did not expect to see all those dead classmates. Very
that was
nice.
A shocker. Yeah.
Very nice. That's a level of edgy I can always get behind.
Yes.
And the opposite is true. The dad, Humagear, sacrifices himself to save Aruto. So Aruto can't believe that Humagear are evil, whereas Iwasu can't believe that Humagear are good.
Yes. They're very much similar people, but had like opposite experiences that threw them into like opposite roles almost.
I have to do a correction for every bit. His name is Imasu, not Iwasu. Shit. That's fantastic. I'm just going to have this... you know what? I'm going to make
just
a scroll...
quick pop-up on the screen, just boop, every time.
You know what? I'll make a counter. This will be fun. This will be fun for editing. I'm going to put a counter every time I say Iwasu instead of Imasu. Anyway.
You should have one specifically for that, and then one for every other time we miss something.
A fail counter.
Yep. There we go. We got a fail counter.
Right. So, we see Imasu refuse to listen, and he is consumed by his ideals of revenge and hatred towards the Humagear, and he rips open his progress key.
God, that was such a great scene. I love this scene.
He looks like a badass doing it.
Yes.
Like, such a badass.
I already liked the gun
Mm-hmm.
that he was using, that blue thing.
Yeah.
I like how he never gives it back.
Yes.
But I love that he's like just using it outright.
I like
and
that,
then it's like...
Yeah. I like that he never gives it back, and I also like that it's never confiscated from him.
Yeah. And he's just straight up just using it and just... No, like, it's such a powerful thing. He has a hard time shooting it, and he's just using it.
Right. That's
just very reckless character.
Absolutely.
I love it.
Yes. His Shooting Wolf progress key looks fantastic, and the Henshin sequence is very impressive.
Yes. That Henshin scene was, for me, 10 out of 10. That was great. I loved that.
So, ironic, his color scheme is the same color scheme as Kamen Rider Drake, and they both use a handgun. So, I really hope that Vulcan isn't going to be beset by constant misery.
Mm. Yeah. Yeah, I hope he isn't either, because I like him.
What did you think of his shooting blast finisher?
I was kind of surprised by it. It was cool.
Right?
I wasn't expecting that at all.
So, given how gun-related Kamen Rider's finishers are, there was only two he could have. Well, three, really. He could have a big beam, a big ball attack, or a multi-shot. This was like all of them and none of them at once.
Yeah, it was really unique.
Yeah. He fires the trigger, shoots off four, exactly four blue fiery wolves, and they turn into like bullets that pierce the red magia to the shipping container, and then he finishes him off with the big shot.
Yes.
And it is impressive.
And that connects over to another scene we'll probably get to here in a minute when we go back to 0-1.
Yeah.
But that finisher is fantastic. I'm actually impressed by it because I love his design. His Henshin is fantastic, and was like, it surprised me with how they went about that, and I loved it.
Yeah, me too.
And it's like his overall just, it fits his character. Like, just the look of it just fits him. It's
Right.
like, it's so good.
Exactly. The only problem I have with Vulcan is I don't like the mouth part of the helmet. I know what they're going for. They're trying to make it look like a wolf head, like from an aerial view, but it looks a little silly. Yeah. It doesn't.
Yeah, I can see that, but I still liked it.
His mid-season upgrade is going to look fantastic because it's already in the toy magazines. So they fixed the helmet then, so you won't hear me bitching at that point. But yeah. And to jump over to the other scene, while that fight is going on, 0-1 is fighting the Echo Magia.
Yes.
And this fight is... Alright, I gotta say something. Both of these fights, there's some questionable camera work going on in these fights.
There is, and some, especially on 0-1 side, some very poor graphics.
Yeah. Now, I realize they probably spent a lot of that episode's budget trying to generate the Rise phones and turn it into the motorbike.
Yes.
So,
which was funny. That actually made me laugh.
Exactly. I really like the line, please watch your head.
Yes.
Because this thing comes crashing from the satellite in space down to down to the parking
space lot to give you a bike.
Yeah, it's hilarious.
I love it.
Yeah. So yeah, the graphics, I think they spent most of the budget there, if I'm being honest with you. So I'll forgive it. It's just, man, the state of some of those cuts was really bizarre.
Yeah.
I had a little trouble following the fight. I had to rewatch it. I got it all in the end, but
I'm thinking this is going to be one of those ones where it's the quality of the scenes are probably just going to go up as it progresses. Maybe they're trying to just get a little bit bigger of a budget or something.
I imagine there's something big they want to do in a couple of episodes, so they have to
save.
Save for it.
That would make sense.
That's just my personal opinion. But they're... Oh, man. I'm sorry, I'm looking through the toy catalog. Boy, there's some...
Of course you are.
I can't help myself. I can't help myself. You know how I am.
Nothing wrong with it.
But... Yep.
I also love that when Vulcan was fighting, she's just recording him.
Yes. I like that she was mad at him, but not really. She just started doing her job like instantly.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
It was kind of silly, actually. Really. It's just her reactions are kind of... I don't know, she seems almost as childish as he does about it.
Yeah.
It's just like, she seemed almost excited to start recording him.
She did seem excited to record him. I think she's the same kind of reckless, but maybe in a different sense.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
It's a series of reckless characters, and I love it.
And at the end of the episode, we get the big reveal that, yes, Humagear are in fact attacking humans, but it's thanks to a terrorist group known as MetsuboJinrai.net.
Yes, and Aruto fucking... He's definitely a lot more clever than he lets on, because he definitely... I don't think anybody was expecting him to do what he did.
Yep. Not only does he have video evidence of it happening, he also can shift the blame from Hidan intelligence right onto somebody else. So, in one way, you don't deny the attack of Humagear, the attacking Humagear, but in the other sense, it's not your company's fault either.
Yeah.
It's very sneaky.
I'm also thinking it wasn't like... Just because of his character so far, I'm also thinking he legitimately believes that it's just... There's nothing wrong with the Humagears. It's literally just Metsubo Jinrai.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. He just thinks it's Metsubo Jinrai. Yeah. I don't think this is a planned thing. It's just something I noticed after the fact. You know? Yeah. That's something a bit of a shifty CEO would do.
Yeah.
But I, once again, jumped a little too far ahead because we get to see 01's sword finisher.
Yes.
And this is much better than the kick. And
it's definitely better.
His kick, of course, being called Rising Impact. The slash is called Kaban Strash. And I couldn't understand what the heck they were saying, but it is on the wiki, so I was able to look it up and be like, okay, so this is Kaban and then trash with an S in front of it. Trash. Kaban's trash. He uses the, attaché case sword, and it gets a nice glow of energy, and he brings it right down, doing a jump slash. Is phenomenal.
Yeah, it was very good. And then, immediately after that, we get to see the scene. It's like they linked the battlefields when Vulcan blasts through the shipping containers, killing the red one.
They did link the battlefields.
Oh, yeah, they did. But it's like I wasn't expecting them to do that.
Honestly. I wasn't expecting them to do that either. And I wasn't expecting there to not be a fight.
Yeah, they kind of just like... It just had like the long stare at each other.
They had a stare down, and then the steam comes up, and then when it goes away, 01 is gone.
Yeah.
Fantastic. I love every minute of it. Then we go back to the
press conference.
Exactly, the press conference, where Aruto reveals the existence of Metsubo Jinrai, which I guarantee you is going to be something that the two of them are not unhappy about. In fact,
I'm thinking this.
Yeah.
Played into. I'm thinking they wanted that because there's just. I was honestly expecting them to be a lot more like, even with Jin being there and like active on the field, I didn't think that he would just outright do that in front of Aruto like that.
Exactly.
I figured it would be the Humagear walking in front of Aruto and then saying the line about Metsubo Jinrai on its own. I didn't think Jin would be there.
Yes. In most of the series, we don't see the generals come out that early.
Yeah.
They'll talk, they'll sit in a circle, they'll sit on their weirdly colored thrones with their matching colored capes and whatnot. I'm looking at you, O's. But they won't be fighting any of the generals right out the gate. Yet,
yeah, we don't get one this active.
Exactly.
Which makes them all the more threatening to me.
And to kind of dissuade from the Peridot comparisons that I've been seeing. Peridot does very little early on.
Yes.
Jin does stuff right out the gate. I'm not trying to make it seem like Jin's better than Peridot. I just think it's weird to see people constantly compare the two together.
It's it's got to be 100% just his mannerisms so far.
Yeah.
Which I'm sure the more the screen time Jin gets, the further that separation will become, and the less people will do it.
Absolutely. Then we get the press asking Aruto who he is. He says he's the CEO of Hidan Intelligence, and then breaks into a joke that gets a reaction out of nobody except for Imasu.
Imasu, who had his arm in a sling.
Yeah, selling that whole shooting thing is not easy for him.
Yeah, and he probably wasn't. I'm also getting the impression that it might have also been the form to a degree. He probably wasn't. She's probably right. He wasn't ready, but he's going to use it anyway.
Yeah. And he just starts trying to contain his laughter, and I am trying to contain my laughter at his laughter.
Yeah, and very much to the surprise of God, I'm awful with names. What's her name? Yeah, Yua. Very much to her surprise, clear surprise.
Absolutely.
He actually has to duck out of the room.
And as he is doing that, we get Izu explaining the joke once more. I think this might be a returning bit that they're going to do.
Yeah, it's probably going to be at the end of every episode or something. Almost every episode.
And
when he does a joke.
Really hope it stays.
Yes, I like it.
I hope it stays except for the serious episodes.
Yes, of course.
And then the last episode has something that actually makes me laugh.
Yes. Yeah, he gets one good joke in. Because very much his humor right now, I like it because it's very much... It's not that he's funny, it's how everybody reacts to his bad humor that makes it funny. And I love it. He's not a good comedian at all.
No, he is a YouTube cringe compilation waiting to happen.
Yes, and it works because they're selling it like that. They're doing it on purpose. And they know what they're doing with it. It's great. It's so funny.
It is wonderful. Overall, I think the second episode is so much better than the first.
It is.
And I suggest everyone watch them back to back instead of watching one than the other. If you want to go weekly after that, that's fine. But I think you should watch 1 and 2 together.
Yes.
It feels kind of like the older series, when everything was in arcs of 2 episodes, like in Kamen Rider Double and Decade and all those, where it's part 1 is the setup and then part 2 is the resolution. Feels kind of like that, even though the monsters of the week aren't tied together like that. Just the concepts that are brought from episode 1 to 2.
Yes.
I am very much impressed with this series.
Yeah,
Aruto,
very much.
Something we kind of overlooked was that Aruto also does another one of those dramatic speeches.
Yes.
This one's good too. I like this one as well. Didn't like it as much as his first one, but I guarantee you the first one is supposed to get you over on the fact that Aruto is actually meant to be taken seriously.
Yes. And again, just to say it again, I love that Aruto has that switch where he goes just from trying to be this goofball and a comedian to being serious and being able to just go into CEO mode.
Right. I also like that they go with serious and not badass,
Yeah.
Because he's not a badass. Not in any way, shape, or form.
Yeah.
Imasu's a badass.
Yes.
But he's serious.
Yes.
He goes from goofball to serious, and I like that. I hope they keep that mentality. You know, obviously you gotta, you know, you want your moments of levity. He doesn't need to be super serious, but it's a nice switch.
Yeah, that's the other thing too. It's like his serious moments, they're not super serious. He's just being serious.
Exactly.
So it's not like a jarring transition.
Right. That is something I absolutely want more of in the future.
Yeah.
All right. Well, do you have any closing thoughts before we go, Alex?
I'm looking forward to. I'm looking forward to everything this series is going to throw at us. It's probably gonna be a fun one. I'm betting money here. It's gonna be a fun one.
And if I was a betting man, I would take that bet and double down on it because I also think it's going to be a pretty fun one.
Yeah.
It's going to have some moments where it stops being a kid's show. I really hope there's no Christmas episode. And I don't mean the fun parts of the Christmas episode. I mean the laser parts of a Christmas episode.
Laser.
But overall, I think it's going to be a great series, and I can't wait for more next Saturday. And before we go, I kind of want to say how impressed I am with Kamen Corp's subtitle game. They get that stuff out in 24 hours. It's pretty impressive.
Yeah, it's surprising. I like that. They're good at that.
I'm going to rewatch every episode with the TV Nihon dubs because they're my... not dubs, subs. The TV Nihon subs. Because they're my favorite subgroup.
Yes.
But Game & Corp is doing wonders getting the first slice of the pie.
Yeah.
All right, well, that has been Bad End's review of Kamen Rider 01 Episode 1 and 2, because we didn't do it last week.
Yeah. We waited.
Yes, we were smart like that. Other people jump the gun, watch Episode 1, not us. We watch Episode 1 and 2, then we make a judgment.
Yeah.
All right, that is going to be it for us. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you enjoyed our review. Let us know what you thought of Kamen Rider 01, first
Definitely.
writer of the Reiwa era.
Yeah.
And join us next time where we talk about Kamen Rider Gaim, but not really. This has just been a joke ending. Goodbye, everyone.
Bye, people.